Hello there, lovely people who love reading books. I'm tired of that hello book lovers thing because I think it became a little cheesy, don't you think? Today I'm going to do a tag video, and I haven't really been tagged, but I saw this video many times, and the most recent one that I saw was the one by VulpixCandy, and I really loved. And even before, I really loved the idea of this whole thing and this tag, so I really wanted to do it. And she tagged everyone who would like to do it, so I decided to do as she told me to do, if you know what I mean. You've noticed that I love doing tag videos, and as always, I'm going to tell you what this tag is about. There are 14 questions in this tag. In every of these questions you have to decide which of those two things you like more, so this or that tag. I'm sure that you know what I'm talking about. So the first question is audiobook or book in hand, and I think this one is easy. I have never really listened to an audiobook before, and I'm not really sure if that really could be considered a book. Because I understand with ebooks and like physical copies of the book, it is book and it is written word, but with audiobooks it is more like you're listening to music or something like that, and I don't really see how we can compare these things. I mean, sometimes I think that it would be nice to listen to someone read to you, especially if English is not your first language, which is my case if you haven't noticed that. I'm sure you have. I think that it would be good to listen to someone reading a book if you want to learn that language, and if you wanted to, I don't know, maybe hear it and things like that. But I would always choose physical book over all the other types of books that exist nowadays, and there are audiobooks, ebooks and everything. So physical copy of the book. Soft cover or hardback. And this one is also easy. You know what my opinion of the hardcover is if you've seen my bookish pet peeves video, because there I really talked about how much I hate all the hardcover books, because the hardcovers are so heavy and they're so big, take so much place on my shelf, and they're so expensive. I really like paperbacks a lot more than hardcover books, and that's why almost every book on my shelf is paperback. If you'd like to hear more about my opinion of that, I'll link my bookish pet peeves video and then you can check it out. Next question is fiction or non-fiction, and for this one I have to choose fiction because I don't really like reading non-fiction, because it really reminds me on my university studies and everything. So while I'm on the university, the fiction it is. Fantasy or real life issues. You all know that fantasy is my favorite genre, and I've read some books that are real life issues, but I really love fantasy more because I have many problems in my life already, and I don't really have to deal with other people's problems, and I think that the same answer as with the previous questions. As far as I'm at the university, I'm going to read fiction. Harry Potter or Twilight? Well, for this one I'll have to answer both of them, because I think that if you're from a Harry Potter generation like I am, then you'll know that almost everyone who read Harry Potter read Twilight after it came out, and those two became like companion series. I don't even know how to explain it, because when the Harry Potter series ended, then Twilight came out, and then we all read Twilight. And I'm not sure if I'm the only one or there are more people like that, but I really appreciate both of these series, and I think that they really made me want to read more, and they got me into reading, so I think that I'll have to choose both of them. Kindle, iPad or other? Well, I own Amazon Kindle Paperwhite, so that would be my answer. I love my Kindle so much. If you don't own a Kindle, I would highly recommend this one because it's really wonderful. And when you charge the battery once, it lasts almost 2 months. And even a month and a half if you read all the time, as I do, and that's really a long time. The lighting is great, so you can even read in dark, and I really love this Kindle and I would highly recommend it. So Amazon Kindle Paperwhite. Borrow or buy? And for this one I'll have to choose buy, because I don't really borrow many books from the library, and the library don't have many fantasy books, and I've read almost every fantasy book that they do have, and I don't really know any library with the English books in it. Mostly every book that I read is in English, so I would have to choose buy. I have to order those books because I can rarely find the book that I want to read in the bookstores here in Serbia, so I'd have to order them from the internet. Or if I do find some book that I really like to buy, then I have to buy it at that moment, because it could get sold and I couldn't really find it anytime soon. And I couldn't really borrow any book from my friends because none of my friends are into reading and they don't own as many books as I do, and if they even own a book, then I'll probably have the same book on my shelf. So the next question is bookstore or online, and I think that I've already answered this question for you because there are not so many books in the bookstores here in Serbia that I haven't already read. There are some books that I haven't read, but I'm not really interested in any of these books, so I have to order my books online. Tell me one time or total trilogy, and for this one I'll have to say trilogy because I think that standalones are great, but not all the things are really explained in them, and we can't really see that character development and world building and everything as we can if we are reading trilogy. But even then, some of the trilogies don't have the things that I've mentioned, so maybe a standalone can be as well built as some trilogy, and it all depends, but for me, maybe I like trilogies more than standalones. Monster read or short and sweet? I'm not really sure what this one stands for, but when it contains the word monster, I'll have to choose it because I really like dark things. I like horror, I like dark fantasy, and I like everything that is a little bit dark, so I'll have to choose monster read for whatever it means. Starry-eyed romance or action-packed? For this one, I can't really decide because I don't really like my books to be all about romance. To be said, I hate that, and I don't really like the book to be all action-packed and everything about action. So my perfect read would be maybe an action-packed book, but with the premise of romance and maybe some mystery and some other genres, or everything combined, and it should be dark. And so I think that would be my answer. I really like my books to be action-packed and with a bit of romance in them. Curl up in your snuggie or bath in the sun? For this one, I really like summer, and I really like seaside and sea and sun and everything, so I'll have to answer a bath in the sun on my skin, and it's so warm and it's beautiful, and I really love that. Hot chocolate or latte? And I really like hot chocolate, but I think that I like coffee more, so I would have to choose latte because I really like the taste of coffee. Not that it helps me stay awake and everything, but it does help me stay awake, especially when I'm doing my exams and everything. But I really like the taste of coffee, so I'll have to choose a latte. read the review or decide for yourself, and for this one I like to decide for myself, but I like to read a review not before I read the book, but maybe if I'm in the middle of the reading, because then maybe it can help me maybe make some decision of something that I'm not really sure what I think about it, or if I want to check if other people share my opinion about that book. And I'm sorry about the ringing, it's my telephone is ringing in and no one's want to pick it up, so I'm really angry about that, so I'm really sorry about that, but I really wanted to answer that question. I always read the review, but I like to have an opinion of my own, so I would read the review, maybe it would help me decide what I think about the book, but I would always create my own opinion. So that would be my answers, and I really like doing this tag, and I really like the idea and all the questions, and I would really love to tag some people for this tag, and I'm going to put their names in the description below, because I'm really bad with pronunciation and you really don't want to hear me tell all those names out loud, because that would be really terrible and I would pronounce each and every name wrong. So if I listed your name in the description below, that means that I tag you to do this wonderful video. And if you did like my video and if you share some of my opinions, please leave a comment and press the like button and subscribe. And I don't know what else to tell you except maybe that I'll see you soon.